Alright, so today we're going to talk about writing the equations of circles. So here we have our standard equation of a circle, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r. So the center of my circle is hk, those values right there. Notice they are opposite the values inside since I'm subtracting in the equation, but my values are positive for the center. And then r is still r, but I have the r squared in the equation, so just make sure you take the square root of that before, in order to figure out your radius. So square root that to get your radius. So we want to write an equation of a circle given the radius and center. So I'm just going to follow my standard equation and plug it in. So there's my h and k and my radius. So I have x minus my h value, which is -3, and y minus my k value of 4 equals 5 squared, my radius. Then I can go ahead and simplify. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 25, and that would be your final answer. I want to do the same thing again here, except it's on a graph. So I need to identify the center and the radius. So my center is 0, 0. The radius, I just count the distance from the center to the edge of the circle, which is 2 units. So I plug that into my equation, x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 2 squared. When I simplify, I get x squared plus y squared equals 4. Now I want to write the equation of a circle given the center and a point. So my center from my graph is -1, 2. But in order to write the equation, I need to have the radius, which is the distance between the center and that point. So in order to find that, I need to use Pythagorean theorem. So my legs are 2 and 2, and my hypotenuse is length r. So I plug that into a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 2 squared plus 2 squared equals r squared. Simplify, 4 plus 4 equals r squared. So 8 is r squared. Now you could square root and get your value of your radius, but in the equation of a circle, we want r squared anyway, so I'm just going to leave it like this. So then when we go to plug all of this in, x minus -1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 8, because that is my r squared value, so I don't need to square it again. Okay, so be very careful about that. Make sure you know, do you have your radius or do you already have r squared? Then I simplify, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 8, and I am done. Lastly, we just want to make sure we can graph. So again, I need to figure out my hk and my radius. So my center, remember we take opposite values. So because I have x minus 2, it's a positive 2 value for my center, and y plus 3 makes it a negative value for the y value for my center. And then radius, r squared equals 16. So that means r equals 4, and now I can use those to graph. So I start by plotting my center, but make sure you notice on the graph, I have a scale factor of 2 for each line rather than 1, so just keep that in mind when you're graphing. So my center is at 2, -3, and then I'm just going to use my radius length of 4, and I'm going to count 4 up from the center, down, right, and left, and put a point at all of those. So there's my point left, up, right, and down, and then connect those, and there's your circle.